Yogis, namaste. Welcome back. Today let's do a little tutorial about your Chaturanga Dandasana. Not everyone's favorite posture, but it is the most crucial posture as it builds the foundation for all your arm balances. Okay, Chaturanga Dandasana in English is basically a low push-up or a tricep push-up, because essentially you're using a lot of tricep strength. Okay, you have a lot of shoulder strength, upper back, and of course the wrapping in of your ribs. So there is the contraction around your trunk or your midline of your body. Okay, so we're going to do this from the basics of your Chaturanga, which is your knees down. Okay, as you notice today, I did not bring blocks into this tutorial because I'd like you to explore this in your own body, because sometimes with the blocks, it may not be the right proportion for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and find a tabletop position. Okay, if you'd like to, you can have a look first and then we could try this together, yeah? So once you find a tabletop position, I'd like you to know that sometimes the tabletop is a little too short to try a Chaturanga. So you'd like to move into a plank stance instead. Okay, so maybe find your high plank, then you can drop your knees down, but essentially adjust first and then drop your knees down. So you can already see here the difference between my tabletop and my plank stance. My plank stance is a little longer. Okay, so I'm in my plank. I am avoiding this arch in my spine, okay, which is compressing into my low spine actually. I'm going to pull that in. So my ribs are drawing in. My shoulders, for now, are over my wrist, okay? So if you're in this position where the strength is still being built to hold a position like Chaturanga, you might find that you'll start to arch, okay, almost naturally. And also the second thing that the body might do is that it's going to shift back because it takes the work away from the shoulders and away from the core. Okay, so you want to keep two things here. Belly pulling in. It doesn't need to be super rounded like your cat pose. Okay, just find that neutral, but you can feel that it's stabilized right down the middle. At the same time, the shoulders stay forward. Okay, so avoiding this. Keeping the body forward, and the spine is pretty linear here. Okay, it's not in an arch and it's not in a rounded back position. Okay, so once you're here, a couple more things are going to happen as you progress towards your Chaturanga. Now this is half Chaturanga, yeah, with the knees down onto the mat. Now Chaturanga, if you are engaging your triceps, you'll have to make sure that your elbows don't splay out to the side. Okay, so from the front view, if you're splaying on your elbows, it will look like this. Now we're going to avoid this. Instead, the elbows are going to shift back. Okay, so from the side view, you can see that the elbows are going to shift back. Okay, elbows bend, elbows go back. And as you do so, your chest is going forward, not back and not stationary. Okay, so there is this progression towards the front. Even though it could be very small in your body, you may not feel it completely, but you will know that your body weight is shifting forward. Okay, so I'm going to restart, and you can join me already at this stage, yeah? So finding your plank first with the knees off the mat, and then dropping the knees. So we find the correct stance first. Okay, now another thing is if you tend to lock a lot at your elbow joints, soften the elbow joints more. Okay, it doesn't need to be completely bent, but you know that you have the buoyancy in your elbows here to move into your Chaturanga. Okay, now, don't look down, don't look to the sides. Keep the neck neutral, so your gaze is slightly ahead of your fingers, okay, towards the front of your mat. Now from here, shift the weight forward, keeping the belly in, so avoiding that arch and avoiding the body shifting back. So belly pulls in, shift the shoulders, even if just half an inch forward, and then start to bend the elbows back, not out to the side. And then release. So that is your first step towards Chaturanga already. Okay, so just to recap, find your plank stance and then drop the knees down because it could be longer than your regular tabletop. From there, keep the rib cage hugging in so you're not arching, your booty is not popping out, and your body is not pushing back. Okay, so the shoulders are not retracting, your shoulders are actually going to go forward. Okay, once you have those in place, continue to shift a little further forward so the shoulders go slightly past the fingers. Then when you feel that you cannot go any further forward, elbows start to bend back, hugging into the sides of the body as you find maybe halfway, maybe slightly higher, that's okay. Just don't dip it down. Okay, so you want to avoid going too low. It's okay to be higher than the usual Chaturanga, which is about 90-ish degrees, it really doesn't matter. Okay, the moment you start to dip the shoulders down, then it's a collapse of the shoulders already. Okay, so you might keep it at that 90 or higher just as a starting point. Okay, and especially so when you have your knees off the mat as well and you're starting to just build the strength in that position. Okay, so let's recap one more time. Find your plank. Okay, you can practice along with me. Drop the knees down, so we're working into half Chaturanga. Things to avoid: booty popping and shoulders going back. Okay, so let's move in the correct direction. Rib cage hugging in, find that strong, stable center. Shift the shoulders slightly further past the fingers, elbows bend back, squeeze into the sides of the body. Maybe you stop here, maybe you stop here. And then continue coming all the way down. Okay, you can reset here, press the tops of the feet down, and then cobra. And then release. And then down dog, child's pose, whatever you need. Okay, so just remember that it's okay to be higher than the traditional Chaturanga 90 degrees, but we avoid going lower. Okay, so control. And as you practice this a little bit more, find a little bit more stability in the shoulder muscles, in the center of the body, and you're just able to breathe fully in that position. And then you keep shifting forward more, elbows bend back more, and then maybe you come down a little bit lower, but again, still keeping that control so that you don't go too low. Okay, and that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed practicing, and I'll see you in the next class. Namaste.